Split 3 you started a few weeks ago, and I'm going to show you the best champions for low elo and high elo to climb with, especially because the season is over. In 3 months it's over, and I want you guys to get the highest elo possible. And also I tried out so many supports that I've lost so much elo just by playing random champions, so I have a really good idea on what is good and what is not good. Alright, so let's go for it. Let's start first with the low MMR tier list. At the end of the video you guys will have the high-low tier list, and you can see also the changes that I made to that one. Now, low elo tier list is going to be below platinum, around low emerald, below that, and then the high elo is going to be diamond plus, as always. Now, emerald is a hard elo, I know, guys. It's a bit of you never know where you are. I'm going to talk about a lot of super champions, so you also make sure that you check the chapters and you can go directly to the champion you are interested in. Let's start with Alistar. Okay, we are going to start with Alistar. It's a champion that got nerfed in middle of the split 2, but I still think, or at least I believe I put him on the low elo tier list on A, because he's pretty good engage. Not engage is very hard to carry because teammates have a very hard time following up. What I would recommend when you play engage champions, make sure that you check your minimap. Guys, check your minimap before engaging. Make sure that you have a clear objective on how to play teamfights, right? Do I want to peel? Do I want to engage, right? What do I need to do? What's my role in the game? Now, he did get nerfed, but only in laning phase, and I don't think laning phase is that important in low MR games. You will not get abused that much, but maybe you can feel it a bit in the early levels. But once you get your first base, if you are playing in a hard matchup, it's going to be totally fine. Right, it's going to be totally fine. So I will say tier A 100%. Now, Amumu got buffed recently, just when I'm doing the video, he got buffed, but I don't think the buffs are enough. Now, what's the problem with Amumu is that Amumu Q cooldown got reduced, and Amumu was really good at playing the engaged champion, but there are so many other good engaged champions right now, better than Amumu. But right now that I'm thinking, he has good damage. The CD of the EQ got lowered, and he's not a bad support, right? I like Amumu because he can also like engage and do damage, but there's a bad part. But if you play Amumu, is that he is not able to survive. Once you go in, he's not able to survive that well, right? For example, Alistar, you combo, ultimate, get out, run around. Leona with the W, you are pretty tanky. Rakan, in and out. Rel, you're also pretty tanky when you go in. Amumu struggles a lot because also you're building more. Sometimes you're building some damage items as well that make you less tanky. Maybe you go for the Liandry's build. So in low MMR, I want to see Amumu a bit more. Amumu a bit more. I think if you play him constantly, it can be better than other champions. So I will move Amumu to A because the Q cooldown reduced is pretty nice for him. I will move him on A. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you like Amumu and you have played Amumu before and you think you want to give him a try, I would recommend you to try him out right now, better than the split before. And also the champions, engaged champions, a lot of engaged champions got nerfed, right? A lot of engaged champions got nerfed. So Amumu is always going to, with some buffs and with engaged champions nerfed, he can rise a bit above. So let's say on A, maybe A, B. Don't make, I will not say for sure S, but A can be good. All right, let's move on to Anivia. Anivia, I'm saying B. I see a challenger and A player that plays Anivia pretty good. He's OTP Anivia support, he builds in tanky, but it doesn't mean that you can replicate that really easy. It's not an easy champion to play. Positioning is super complicated to play with Anivia. And you did good damage, but there's a lot of complicated stuff going on. For example, itemization, how to play the first levels, right? Understanding a lot when you can push, when you cannot push, the matchups, right? So I would say Anivia in B tier is good. Now, if you are, as I say always, super good Anivia player or super good any champion, Anivia can jump onto S tier and you can have really good results and climb with Anivia. But I would not recommend you play Anivia to get out of low MMR, especially at the end of this season, right? On these last 3 months, starting to learn Anivia, I think it's a bit pretty rough, right? If you come from mid lane and you want to play your champion because you're an Anivia main, go for it. But I will stick to B. Now, Annie I will keep in A tier, but below, in front of Amumu for sure, and behind Alistar. I will make sure that from left to right, it has sense. Why? Annie is pretty good as engaged champion, enchanter. You can build enchanter, you can build also AP, Right now, it's very popular to go for Redemption first. I think Annie with the Aerie and Redemption first can work. You can also say, okay, this game I want to play a bit more AP. I don't think it's like for going for S tier. You can have some really good games with Annie, but Annie struggles, as I said before, in a lot of videos that I may talk about Annie, like the tier list and the guide that I did about Annie. Annie struggles a lot against engaged champions, right? Against Rel, Alistar, for Nautilus. She struggles so much because you are not able to utilize your E, your shield, for anything in lane. Your E is really good to go forward, trade, and use your E to reflect the damage and making sure that you are winning the trades. If you play against all-in champions, that's not going to happen. That's not going to work because they're just going to all-in. You cannot play on the E target damage, and especially with your Aerie and Punish. You should go maybe full AP, and then again, engaged champions are better than you, right? So solid A tier, I would recommend to play against mages or other enchanters. I would not recommend to play against engage at all. So A is good for Annie. Now moving on to Ashe, I would not recommend Ashe. First of all, Ashe was a great champion before in Season 14. Season 13 was also like Rising was super nice to play because you will play for bot lane, you will play for bot lane towers, bot lane platings, I mean. And now with the minion changes, the tower changes, the plating changes, everything, bot lane is not that relevant. Staying in bot lane and winning bot lane is harder and also not that useful anymore. Still useful with the ultimate, with the E, but I don't. It's very hard to pull off. I would not recommend. I would not say, let's play Ashe, you are going to grind some Milio. I've not seen that, and I would not recommend. There's so many better champions. So let's keep Ashe here on would not recommend. I love the champion, guys. Don't get me wrong. I love the champion. It's such a good bully laner. But bully lanes in Season 15, especially, and they didn't change anything for the split, it's not going to work out, right? Talking about another bully lane, Aurora. Now, Aurora, I've played Aurora. From Split 2 to Split 3, I've played some Aurora games, and I'm going to drop Aurora at B tier. Now, Aurora has very, very insane early game. Very strong first item power spike. Problem with Aurora, in mid to late game, it's very difficult to play. You get one shot every time you go in. It's very tricky. It's hard to snowball. I would say like you can get a lot of kills for you and for your teammates. And because the games are very hard to close out, Aurora is... she's going to insta-die when going in. And even if I was like 5-0, really fed, I was playing in a decent elo to snowball. People know what was happening. People knew how to set up good objectives. I was still struggling. So B tier in front of Anivia, I think it's a bit easier to play because it's very straightforward with the Electrocute burst. But no, I'm just going to drop Aurora there. Now, Bard. Bard is very controversial when I drop it on my low elo tier list because I always like to put Bard on S or S+. Now, what you guys say with Bard is he's too hard to play. So why do you drop Bard on S+? And for example, Anivia that is also hard to play, or any other champion that's hard to play but can carry, why don't you drop it on S+? It's very simple. For me, Bard has the perfect solo queue style to carry as a support. You can roam, you have builds to do damage, you have to builds to be enchanted supportive with Redemption Locket, for example, very popular. You have different options in runes, Electrocute, Guardian, even if it's a bit nerfed. You can also go for Comet, maybe, a Comet build. You can go for Spellbook, which is also very popular if you are in higher elos. And you have different builds, insanely different builds. You have as I said, the supportive build, the damage build. You can go for Liandry's in third. You can do whatever you want. Now, also, you have great roaming potential, decent laning phase, great follow-up on the jungle, great ganks as well on mid lane and top lane, very fast on the map with the passive and also with the boost that you are getting. And the ultimate is game-changing, right? The ultimate is game-changing. Now, is Bard a complicated champion to play? He's up there. I also believe everyone makes him look harder than it is, actually. It's not that difficult to play. It's just that it's a bit scary to pick up. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you pick him up, you are going to be really good at it. And if you say, okay, I like to roam, I like to play around my teammates, I want to have more impact, more agency in the map, I would pick Bard and say, okay, I want to go from silver to platinum. Or maybe you are gold and you want to bring it a bit, go to the next step. And in these 3 months that the season is still ongoing, maybe pick up Bard, maybe try some games, right? Maybe try the Smurf account, play tryhard, try to investigate how to play him, and it's a great champion to have in your champion pool. Maybe you guys are too scared to pick him up, all right? Let me know what you think, but for sure, S plus is a bit controversial, I know, but I cannot drop probably Bard from here. Maybe I could drop it for S in lower elo. I will do it actually, but in my heart, you guys know that is probably S plus. You know, you're a bad player, probably you're listening to this segment, so don't worry. It's just because it's a bit harder to pick up, okay? So let's keep it on S. Didn't get nerfed though. Blitzcrank. So Blitzcrank is going to go behind Amumu, no, in front of Amumu. Now I've been thinking a lot about Blitzcrank lately, and it's the same thing as I said before. Great in some team compositions, very bad in others. If an enemy team is playing 2 to 3 tanks, very hard to play Blitzcrank, very boring to play Blitzcrank. They will just be in front lane. It's hard to make picks in side lane. It's hard to make picks in mid game. In mid lane as well. In bot lane, some matchups are very difficult to have an impact also, because maybe you are playing with a Zeri, maybe you are playing with a Vayne, maybe you're playing with Smolder, right? You don't decide your AD carry. These AD carries are pretty weak, even if you hook. So Blitzcrank loses a lot of power. Now, if you're playing with Ashe or you're playing with Varus, maybe a Draven, an enemy team is very Jinx Lulu. Oh, hook, kill. And enemy is very squishy, then in late game you can do 1-2 hooks, feels great, and you can carry the game, which is a very good champion to feel good when you are on point. But I cannot bring him up because he's not consistently good, sadly, right? So if you spam 100 games, maybe you win 55, which is amazing already, or maybe 50, or maybe you have like 3 games in a row that are pretty bad. So I cannot, it's not consistently good, as I said, so A. Brand got buffed this 2 patches ago or 3 patches ago. The split 2, he got buffed, or at the start of the split 3, and I don't think it's too relevant for supports. I don't think Brand is in a good spot right now. I would say B tier, or maybe we can drop him a bit up on A tier, but probably on B tier. It's the same thing as Aurora or any mage. Very hard to position. Not the easiest laning phase, even if you guys believe so. It's difficult to play into hook champions, ganking junglers. You have to have a lot of jungle knowledge as well. Are you getting ganked? Bullying lane is not that important. The roaming potential is okay, but other champions are better. And even if they say damage is good to climb, I'm not a believer of that at all. I think if you are in your elo, picking up damage and climbing out is because you are higher elo than the elo you are playing, and you have you are abusing a lot the enemies with the mistakes they are doing. And it's a bit harder to do if you are already playing in silver and against silver players. So I would not recommend Brand to get out. So for me, it's going to be B. Again, the same. Not consistent enough in the games and very hard to pull off. Now, if you are really good and you're smurfing, Brand can help you a lot, because you can see the mistakes very easy and punish. Another champion that got nerfed, a lot of nerfs, by the way, on suppos. We got so many nerfs. We're going to talk about all of those. Is Braum, right? Braum is going to go for me A tier in front of probably Annie. He's going to go together with Alistar. They got nerfed at the same time. Same thing, armor nerf. Less powerful in laning phase, he can get poked and abused a bit more. Though I don't think it's that relevant in low MMR games. You can struggle against lanes with Kayle, for example, or pokey champions in the AD carry role, and then Zyra or Kayle, Zyra Kayle, or with the Lux, right? Or these Vel'koz, or these poke champions that people love to play, like Morgana. It's going to be terrible. Exactly the same as Blitzcrank, in my opinion, not consistent enough in every team comp, right? There are going to be some team compositions that Braum is going to excel at, right? Because you are playing with an AD carry, and maybe there's a Kindred in the jungle, a Graves, or some more auto-attackers, and you are going to play front-to-back comps, and Braum is going to love that. Make sure that you know how to move with your jungle. Make sure that you connect more with jungle to look for invades. He's very strong in early skirmishes. And you can still climb with Braum. He can be S or S plus tier in some team compositions. So if you have him in your champion pool, not that bad. Not that bad to have. If you play into engage very low range team comps that want to go in, it's a bit as Renata. We are going to talk about Renata as well. A bit more versatile as Renata. You can do a bit more stuff. Also, tankiness helps. So I would drop Braum at A tier. Now, Camille, I would not recommend. I love Camille. Also one of my favorite support champions. I played Camille support before it was even meta, because it was my for fun pick a bit. But I don't think it's great now. A bit better than Ashe. She's good with Samira, Kai'Sa, maybe Lucian, maybe some of these champions in bowling that have low range and all-in potential. Tristana Again, the same thing as Aurora that is struggling just in AD is that you need some items. Bloodsong also got nerfed very hard before, so she dropped a lot. And you just get one shot later on. It's true, if you get 3-4 items you can carry, but again, not consistent enough, and I'm not going to recommend you a champion that probably is harder to play than Bard in the support role, because it's just like a very crazy play style, and you have to know your Windows opportunity of engaging like very, very good in bot lane, and that's very complicated to understand at this in low MMR games, and especially when you're still learning. So I would put more time to learn other champions that are going to help me get better at the role, and then maybe if you feel like in a game that you love playing Camille, then you can give it a bit of tries. But initially, I would not recommend playing Camille. Elise is a surprise for me because it's a champion that got nerfed a lot. By the way, she got nerfed a lot of times. I would say not a lot, maybe, but a lot of times in a row. And I dropped to playing her nor less. But I'm going to drop her at A tier, probably ahead of Alistar. Maybe it's going to be a surprise for this tier list. I don't even remember why did I set up Elise the last tier list. But it's a bit harder to play in low elo for sure. But it's a nice champion that you guys can try. If you say I'm watching this because I want to get a carry champion to get out of low elo and I want to spend some time playing, what champion can I play? That's also a bit of fun, right? That does damage, can roam, have a good impact. Is going to be Elise. Now Elise is very strong level 3. Right, she can dive towers as well with the rappel, with the E. I would recommend you guys sync up a lot with your junglers, or you try to make plays in top lane, mid lane, and start getting sweeper early on, and try to trap the enemy jungle in his own jungle, right? Make sure that you get good deep vision, and you are perma moving, right? I don't like to take Elise with the mobility boots, or the synchronized boot, or what's symbiotic boots it's called. I would like to go full AP. You go full AP, you can go Bloodsong, and Rocket Belt or Storm Surge first item. I think Storm Surge might be better. And from there, you just try to go for kills, and snowball the game. What's the difference with Elise and Aurora is that Elise is a bit better in support because you still have a good CC. So you have a first target kill. It will be like a hook, but obviously you're not hooking, but you get someone in place. And then you can burst, and you also have better survivability with the rappel. You can make a lot of time. It's very fun to start, like, for example, level 2, level 3 trade, full all in, and then just stay a couple of seconds up, and the enemy AD carry and support cannot hit you, and then your AD carry finishes off. And it's very creative champion. So if you feel creative, you want some damage, and you think you can carry the games, then play some Elise. 100%, I recommend it. I recommend it for sure to play some Elise. Now, Galio. Galio, I would put it on not recommend. It's weaker than other engaged champions. Not good enough pill. Can be good in certain when enemy team is full AP and you can benefit from the shield of the ultimate. But again, it's not consistent enough to have like good results in long term, only playing Galio. Of course, you can climb playing Galio, but you can climb with playing almost anything that we are going to talk about today, any champion. So yeah, on B, not good engage because you don't have engage with Galio, not amazing pill, not enough damage if you go Aftershock. If you don't go Aftershock and you go for more damage, you are very squishy. Very late on the builds. You could try Galio with Redemption Rush. That's something I want to try myself as well. It can be nice, but other champions do better, right? Other champions do better. Talking about other champions, Gragas. We're going to drop Gragas in front of Galio. Behind Galio, it doesn't really matter. It's still better than AP champions because you have a bit more impact with your engage or CC and pill. Again, Gragas, if you don't get very ahead when you're AP, bit useless, you get one shot. If you're a bit tanky, it's very good as a support. But it's very good if you play in higher MMR games, probably into some counter matchups, right? If you're playing against Alistar, you're able to be on top of your AD carry. Alistar combos, you just eat the guy, and then you can trade. Super nice. The same with Rel. Rel is a bit more complicated because she can outplay you in some other ways. But yeah, not consistent enough, right? Consistency is going to be key on this tier list. Didn't get stronger as well, so let's put him at B. Now we have Heimerdinger. And Heimerdinger is an interesting case because I don't play Heimerdinger at all, but I know the power of Heimerdinger. If you play Heimerdinger against a lot of melee champions, he probably can be A tier and S tier, right? But if you play Heimerdinger against some mages or some long range champs, he's going to be dropping or staying A tier. I don't think he can drop to B tier that much. It's a support that is not too exciting to play, or not a lot of players will say, oh, let's play Heimerdinger support now. It's very niche. So probably it's for OTPs or 2 tricks that want to play Heimerdinger or something else. Now, if you're OTP Heimerdinger, it's for sure a good champion to climb, because you will make sure that you can look for opportunities, for example, trapping in bushes in mid to late game, making sure that you know how to be annoying with your towers, rushing objectives, making sure that you lead your team towards objectives, right? Okay, let's do the dragon. I will set up vision. Let's go for dragon, because you can have really good area control and objective control with Heimerdinger, right? You want to make sure that you are doing the objectives and you have your team there, good vision, so you can also turn in one shot or make some traps or rush the objectives with your towers. Now, this is you're only able to do this if you are like OTPing a bit or spamming it a lot, so you learn when it's good, when it's bad, so it takes a lot of time. So that's why I cannot drop him on S tier. It's even harder than Bard, 100% Heimerdinger. Okay, champion that will make it, mage champion, Hwei. The first mage champion that is going to go to A tier, I think. He got buffed. I love Hwei. Too complicated to play, right? But he gets a honorable mention on the last position in the A tier because he's strong. Hwei is strong support, but very complicated to play. A lot of buttons to press. Understand when to press them is important. Why Hwei is here compared to Brand or Aurora? Hwei has better, probably, area control than those two. Brand is pretty good with the ultimate, but Hwei is pretty annoying with the ulti as well and the zones, and he can make sure that he CCs to multiple targets. You can zone also with the area from the E, and it's also pretty good into some engaged champions because they cannot really engage if you play well with the EQ. Now, he could be B tier because of the difficulty, and also the positioning is not easy to pull off. But with the recent buffs, he got buffed very recently, he deserves to be in A tier. We are going to give Hwei a try. If you are a Hwei player yourself and you feel like you can pull it off in laning phase, again, champions that are aggro in laning phase or bullying laning phase are not that good, right? Are not that good right now, as I said with Ashe, for example, as well. But we are going to keep Hwei on A tier. We are going to keep the last one on A tier, okay? I want to believe. Maybe some of you play Hwei and you can tell me. Now, let's go with Janna. Janna, S+, 100%. There's no doubt about Janna being S+. You have the Aerie build, you have the Glacier build, which is very broken. Good things about Janna, good roaming, strong laning phase if you choose, or decent laning phase if you choose to play Aerie or some other, or Comet. If you go for Glacial, better peel, very good scaling, very good peel potential, and it's just a really good enchanter, right? It's the roaming enchanter, and that enchanter works really good in low elo, and roaming also works really good in low elo if you do it correctly. So it's a playstyle that if you love to have more agency than, for example, Lulu or Soraka, pick Janna, right? Janna has great results. She's one of the strongest champions right now, with some other enchanters getting nerfed. So if you play a bit of Janna, or you're a Janna player, you just came back, or you say, oh, I want to push a bit for the end of the season, make sure that you spam some Janna games, and you for sure are going to climb, right? The Glacial build is pretty strong because every time you CC with Janna, your E gets reduced, and the Glacial also gives E cooldown reduced, so you can spam two shields in a same fight, which is very broken if you do it correctly. The only problem is that your damage is not insane, right, in laning phase compared to other enchanters. So if you are patient, then pick Janna, and if you are more impatient and you want to bully more in lane or be more active in lane, we are going to talk about other enchanters that are going to work for you. S+, 100%, no doubt about that. Jarvan is going to go here in front of Gragas. I don't know where I did put Jarvan before. I've not played a lot of Jarvan. He can play Aerie, which is a poke build, or you could play him with Electrocute, which is also like a burst build. Good things about Jarvan: decent engage, good kill lane in bot lane, not bad roaming, I would say, but later on he falls off like very, very heavily. If you go for some supportive build, maybe he can survive a bit more, but usually you want to play him like full burst and glass cannon, and that's not going to work very well if you're not like snowballing and everyone is very, very ahead. So he gets one shot. So I will not give too much thought on Jarvan. fine champion if you have Kalista, Draven, some aggressive comps in bot. But if you have like a very slow AD carry, picking Jarvan probably is going to be a waste. Also, enemy team has to have immobile carries, so your ultimate has some value. But again, Alistar or some other engaged champions can also do pretty good what Jarvan is looking for. Now, let's go Karma. Karma is very interesting also because Strong Enchanter got nerfed the Q. And I would put Karma on S tier, but I don't think she's up there. Because right now, the bully lanes, as I said, I don't love it too much. I think the shield build from Karma going Aerie with Revitalize on secondary and Moonstone, Redemption, for example, and Downcore is super strong with this champ. And you can 100% carry the games. Other champions can do it a bit better. Maybe it could be S tier, honestly. But I'm going to be very picky, I think, this tier list. I'm going to be very, very picky because I want to make sure that the champions that you select are like the best ones. The best ones that I really believe that, okay, you play this, you want 100% going to carry. So I want to keep the S plus and S tier, like 2, 3, 4 champions. And Karma, in my opinion, doesn't enter to the S tier, but it's still on top of A tier. You can still roam pretty good. You can dominate the lane, right? But it's not enough for me. It's not enough for me. There are better champions right now. But she could be yes. She could be yes. She's right there. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Kayle. I don't know why Kayle is here. I don't know why Kayle is here, but I will not recommend. I don't know why I added Kayle. Sometimes I get some comments and say, oh, why Kayle is not here? I mean, Kayle needs level items. You don't have anything of that with support. So I don't know. Kayle is... Oh, just a mention. Oh, who plays Kayle? You let me know in the comments. I love playing Kayle. Let me know. Maybe you have a build or a way to play Kayle that I can try, but I don't think so. I did like the Kayle pre-rework on support. It was a bit niche as well. It was not the best, but it was fun. It was fun to play. Now it's pretty complicated to pull off. Kennen. Kennen is a surprise pick. It's the same thing as probably playing Aurora or Brand, but Kennen has better zone potential with the ultimate, better burst, but more AoE stance, right? Not that bad in laning phase, especially with the electrocute buffs like long time ago we got. So I would say A tier, but what's the problem with Kennen is that no one plays Kennen support, or very rarely you will see a Kennen support. Not that difficult to play. You just have to play around the W and your stun and some combos, so it can be a bit tricky in lane. Strong roams, and when you roam with Kennen you have the damage and you have the CC, so that's pretty good. And you have good flanking potential, you have good carry potential in the teamfights. So again, I don't expect you guys to pick up Kennen right now, but again, if you are the same reason as Hwei, if you're looking for, or Elise, if you're looking for a mage, you're a bit bored on what to play, and you want some damage, carry, and a bit of off meta, try Kennen. If you have not tried Kennen before, he will surprise you for sure. It's a bit underrated in the super role, and just in general, his kit is so strong that you're going to enjoy it a lot. So let me know as well if you try him out. Talking about a champion that you guys recommended me, and it's so bad, K'Sante, right? You guys recommended me to play K'Sante. I don't forget the names, eh? I don't forget the names of people who recommend me to try this stuff. I've tried so much champions, super champions, that K'Sante was one of them. So what was the idea behind K'Sante support is that you max the E, the shield, and you go for a supportive build, and you have good damage, good peel, but the thing that I disliked a lot with the K'Sante support is that the shield has such a low range that making sure that you use a good shield onto a carry and while fighting properly was not easy, right? I felt like I was very mispositioned all the time. I was capped a lot by who could I shield, and running around people just trying to shield, and the shield is not amazing. It's fine, but it's not amazing. Laning phase was very difficult to pull off. So I would say I would just not recommend K'Sante. I just want to mention K'Sante because I remember the people that recommended me to play this, but it doesn't work, right? I lost LP because of that. But well, you guys know now. If you guys want to try it and have fun, maybe. It gets fun with the ultimate, you can do some crazy stuff, but it's just because you get bored to playing other supports. So, for example, Leblanc. Good off meta support, not the strongest as she was before. I would put LeBlanc in front of Jarvan even. I would put LeBlanc on B. good damage, hard to play and hard to carry with. Maybe it could be with Elise, but the thing with Elise is that it's better in support because of the straight up CC, the one target combo, and the time you can make with the E, as I said before. So LeBlanc, it's struggling a bit more. You have to do a bit similar as Elise, roam, trap, get that sweeper very early, get vision on enemy jungle, be very annoying, sync up with your jungle, trap enemy jungle, go towards mid lane, bot lane, be very chaotic, right? Use the pressure that you get in bot lane to get more, get your team ahead elsewhere, right? Play a lot with Fog of War, and yeah, just make sure that you don't do a lot of mistakes, and that's why LeBlanc is going to be in B tier, because if you do a lot of mistakes with LeBlanc, she's going to suck so much in game that sadly is not going to be the best champion. Okay, Leona is going to be up there in front of Elise and in front of Karma. Now, Leona is not going to make S tier. I think last split I dropped Leona on S tier, or I don't even remember. I believe Leona is underrated because Rel, Alistar, Braum all get nerfed. I mean, the Rel nerf was not that good. Lulu also got nerfed, like the important champions or the champions that were up there. But I will say Leona, A tier, looks good, right? Looks good in front of everyone. You have good carry potential. You have good engage. You're strong in lane. You can do like a lot of stuff together with your jungle. Good roaming potential also. To void grabs, to top lane, to mid lane. Front lane, you're almost immortal. When you are ahead, you almost never die. And you just need to make sure that you understand how to play correctly, engage champions in lower elos, right? Can be very frustrating. What I mean with that is that you can get your team ahead very early, and they will not know how to snowball that lead, which makes Leona less strong compared to like if you are playing against a Lulu and Lulu's playing with Kog'Maw and everyone is ahead in your team. You guys throw 1 or 2 times and then the Lulu is going to be more useful than you, very easy to play, and it can be a bit frustrating. Those games are going to happen. That's the downside of playing Engage. Like the downside of playing Enchanter is that you're going to just lose slowly and it's going to be painful and not much agency that you will have in those games. Engage supports like Leona, you're going to lose because your teammates don't know how to use their kills, and I probably know that you guys are saying, oh, I ganked my mid laner, he got 2 kills, and he still died 1v1 after. It's going to happen. But kit-wise, champion and playstyle, she's A tier. She can even go to S tier in some different team compositions. I will never think that she's going to be B, so you can blind pick, you can pick her anytime, or main her, and you will have good results if you make sure that you do good with her. All right? Lissandra, I would put Lissandra on. I would not recommend Lissandra. I think Lissandra is just a champion that works really good into Rakan, for example, or some other engaged champs, but it's very, very niche. It's picked in like in very, very like just against Rakan, right? Against Rakan, he is really good, or she's really good, and yeah, I would not recommend for you to play it. Maybe in a flex queue on a clash game, you say, okay, the enemy team are playing Rakan, I'm going to play the Lissandra because you can counter the W very easily with your W, and make sure that you one-shot the Rakan. It's a bit harder right now with Celestial Opposition as well, I would say, because Rakan can get Celestial Opposition and you don't one-shot him, so that's a bit also not that great. But okay, just a mention about Lissandra. Moving on, Lulu. Now, here comes the interesting thing. Lulu got nerfed very hard. I mean, very hard. She got a good nerf. I would not say hard nerf, but she got a good nerf. She got less damage on the E, less shield on the E, and also cooldown on the E a bit higher, which is a really good nerf. That one and the W nerf is a very good nerf that Riot made to stop a bit Lulu's potential. Now, Lulu's still very strong. Lulu's still very strong because she was really OP before. We said it before, I told you guys 100 times, Lulu is free elo. Right? Lulu's free elo, like I said that months ago at the start of the season. You just play Lulu, you're going to win. And they dropped 4 nerfs the entire year till today on top of Lulu. Now, Lulu, I could drop it on A tier, but the good thing about Lulu is that she still has very good laning phase. Even if she got like nerfed, the auto attacks, the Q damage is still really good. You have like the strong build of the Electrocute crazy build, which I don't recommend to play in lower MMR games, because you don't scale that well, and then you can just go for a normal build, shield build Lulu. You can go Redemption, Surelias first, you can go for Moonstone games if you want as well, and she has very good pairings with Jinx, Zeri, Twitch, Vayne, Kokmo, Aphelios, right? Ashe even, Varus on hit, which is more popular now with the changes. So you see how many champions benefit from Lulu because of the W steroid later on. It's insane. And just the great she has a great ultimate as well. And some junglers work also very good with Lulu. Like for example, Xin Zhao, Hecarim, Udyr. You guys have an entire list in the document. In the description, you have a document, the support guide, where you can check out the champions that work good with Lulu and the junglers that work good with Lulu. So she's still S, not in front of Bard, not S plus anymore. Maybe we could drop at A tier, but I played her and tested her. She's pretty good, right? She's still very good. So I will not be too worried about. So yeah, I will drop Lulu on S. Now, Lux. Lux, I would drop Lux A tier behind Hwei or in front of Hwei. I think in front of Hwei is the similar. I'm going to give Lux and Hwei a chance, honestly. Because the damage is good. It's good laning phase. Again, we said laning phase doesn't matter that much. They are in the last part of A tier. Very close to B tier as well. Never going to be like very close to S tier at all. They are very far from it. But in certain compositions, like enemies playing a weak champion in bot lane, you are playing like with Kayle, Varus, Ashe, Jhin even, or anything that can really bully them, Lux is a great champion because you can snowball from bot lane a bit. But again, I said snowballing around bot lane, not that easy to do, right? Not that easy to do and not meta enough. Lux also requires you to have great positioning, but has different builds. If you want to go for Enchanter instead of AP, you could go Redemption, Surelias. Not that bad, but I believe that if you are going to pick Lux in your elo, in this elo, if you are watching this tier list, you are most likely not going to build their support and just AP. Expensive builds, it can work out, but I would say, and the important word for today is consistency. I don't think she's consistent enough to climb with Lux. Now you can do it. You can. It can look very strong if you have a really good feeling about the laning phase with Lux. If you know exactly what you have to do, then you can for sure climb with Lux. But there are easy champions that can do better work than her. So yeah, this is honorable mention in A tier. Could be B tier. I think in other tier list maybe I put her on B tier. But let's keep it on A. I don't think she's that bad. She has good CC, good supportive kit as well. And fun to play. I know that she's permabanned in some elos, but well. Malphite, there's not much to say about Malphite. I added it to the list because I know that some of you guys play Malphite. I don't know why. I would say would not recommend. Again, not consistent enough. Weak laning phase till level 6. Only have one button to play. So it's hard for you to move towards mid lane or top lane before level 6 and to roam and do good. If you go for AP, you are very squishy when you ult. What you should be looking for is maybe to get ahead in bot lane somehow, or enemies playing a very weak bot lane. In some compositions, he's not going to work. I don't know why I'm still talking about Malphite. Who cares about Malphite, right? So yeah, I'm just going to say would not recommend. I will not play Malphite. May change my mind if you find that Malphite is pretty good. Let's talk about Maokai. Now Maokai is special, man. You guys love Maokai so much. It's insane how much you love Maokai. Maokai is very special to me as well. Sadly, not good enough. Not good enough, sadly. But it can work. I'm just going to think, where can I put Maokai? In front of probably... If you played 100 games of Braum and 100 games for Maokai, I would say Maokai is a bit better. I would like more to play 100 games of Maokai to climb than Braum. Again, ultimate, very broken. Very good ultimate if you use it properly to engage. Very squishy going in. Not great survivability. You have to make sure that you play really good with your limits, and it needs 1 or 2 buffs to be really good, or at least to be more consistent. Again, that's the word that we are using today, is consistency in your games and how it can perform, like depending on or ignoring the team comps, right? If Maokai is a great blind pick, in some team comps, if the enemy has more mobility, more range, it's not going to be that easy for you to play. And in general, you need like some good carries that you can CC and they can one-shot. If you have like a full clear jungler that really doesn't benefit from this, or a tank jungler, right? And weak AD carry that you cannot really all in, probably the first minutes you are going to suffer most of the times. And then you have to make sure that you set up good ultimates. If the enemy has some front line that can block your ultimates, it can feel pretty bad. Now, one of the mistakes I see what a lot of Maokai's players do is that they rush a lot their ultimates, and also they're hitting too much objectives, right? What you want to do with Maokai is be ready to turn and that your teammates are turning with you, right? If you are doing Dragon, make sure that you ultimate in an angle where everyone can run and you guys can engage and fight. Now, why is he A tier? Is because in objective fights, normally your team is going to keep hitting the objectives. Some of them are going to turn. So you have to make sure that you ping well your engages, announce that you want to turn or you want to fight, and it's going to look much better. Now, it requires a higher level of communication and just explaining what you want to do. It's not that straightforward, but you are going to miss opportunities of a good turn ultimate, and it's going to suck a bit, right? Now, Mel. Moving on, Mel. Mel. I would say Mel B tier. She could be A, but not not even in front of Hwei. I would say maybe in front of Hwei like this or in front of Lux. It's a bit the same. It's just that Mel's damage early game is very bad. Roaming potential is pretty bad. Of course, she can look like very strong. Oh, she's very OP, but that's because you are not abusing her properly, right? She cannot follow your roams. Later on, she needs to build up a lot of time fighting to be good with the ultimate or to be relevant. If she's doing a lot of damage, it's because she got fed randomly. It's not because probably she worked for it. Or they have a really strong bot lane that can poke you out and you picked very bad champions like a Zeri, I don't know, Zeri Maokai, right? And she's perma poking you and you are unable to do anything because your Zeri cannot follow up your engage. Then it looks good, right? But in general, I would say Mel, very weak champion at the moment. They nerfed her pretty much when she came out. The Q doesn't do enough damage as support to carry early game or poke your enemies out. And she can struggle in a lot of different matchups and team compositions, right? All right, Milio, the revelation of today. Probably the revelation of this video is going to be Milio. I'm going to do a bet. And I'm pretty confident to do this, okay? So be ready. I'm going to drop Milio S+ in front of Janna or behind Janna. I will drop Milio as well on S+. Why will I drop Milio on S+? Listen to me. I think Milio right now, I'm going to drop 3 champions on S+. You guys know the champions I'm talking about, pretty sure. Milio is super strong. With all the nerfs that happened in the other champions, trust me, if you want to pick a champion, an enchanter, and Milio, you like it, or you have been thinking about playing Milio, play it, you will get elo. You will get out of low elo playing Milio. I guarantee you. Just make sure that you do every single step of how to play enchanter correctly. Play good around the bushes, be patient, good positioning, position yourself behind your teammates when buffing them. Milio is super strong, and it's been a bit like I've been a bit blind watching Milio grow, and I've not put enough effort on thinking about Milio. I don't know where did I put Milio before. Maybe it was on A tier, I think. It was not even S, but it's going to be a gamble from me. It's a gamble for me right now. I think Milio, go S+, 100%. He's such a good champion at the moment. I don't know, like Lulu nerfed, like every other guy nerfed, and the champions that are rising right now in AD carry, especially with the Sivir, the Yunaras, right? Or maybe like with any champion is pretty good. Varus going attack speed as well. You cannot go wrong, right? Aphelios also making a comeback. Aphelios in low elo, hopefully it doesn't happen, or you have to have like a really good one. But in general, like this champ, it surprises me a lot. The ultimate also really very strong. And yeah, let's try it out. Let me know. I know a lot of Milio abusers that got a lot of elo, and I want to share it with you because if you're like me a bit not thinking about him, well, I will drop it here so you guys are like, oh, really? Yeah, really. Also, very simple build path. Not difficult to play and to understand how it should be played, right? Enchanters are pretty simple, not easy, but simple. Okay, no, let's not make the mistake about if it's easy or not. It's simple champions. It means that it's not difficult to execute in game, but it has its things. Okay, let's go. MF next one. Would not recommend to play MF. Maybe we could put him in front of, maybe, I don't know, in front of Ashe. It doesn't matter. Like AD carries right now. With it was good answer to Zyra. Zyra's not played enough. I think they changed how the plans even work. It doesn't matter, right? Like Miss Fortune, you can play 20 other support champions that are going to do better, not consistent again enough to climb with Miss Fortune in support. I would not say, oh, pick Miss Fortune support every game, you're going to climb. I would not say that. So let's move on to the next one and not make this like eternity. Morgana. Morgana. I get crazy. Like the longer this tier list goes and the more I talk, I get crazier and crazier. Morgana is like, I don't know. Like, I want to believe that she got buffed, and I want to believe in my head that Morgana is good. I want to believe that. I want to believe that the W is useful, and I want to believe like the W got buffed is stronger. I would put 3 points in W, not 3 points in Q, and then max my Q, and with that plus AP damage or AP items, she's going to work. Look at me. It's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. Let's stop playing Morgana. As I said, every tier list is like you are making the same speech every single time. I will make this speech every single time because if one or two people see it, are new and say, oh, what is this guy talking about? What is the speech? The speech is stop picking Morgana, so Riot is forced to buff, change, or rework the champion because the ultimate is bad, the Q is too slow, the W doesn't do anything, and the E is not good enough, right? I love to play Morgana probably together with Senna. And what else? Ashe is also like a very like champions I love. I love Morgana. So you cannot tell me, oh, you're a Morgana hater. I'm a Zillion and Yumi hater and Sona hater. Okay, Morgana, I love Morgana. And she will not recommend. I will not recommend you to spam Morgana to get out of Elo. Low Elo, you could do it and you can make it work, but it's going to be you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. And you have to be very good. Play with Fog of War. I made a Morgana guide as well, where I think maybe Redemption Rush and Redemption into Zonias can be nice, less damage, more supportive, Q and kill, but I would not recommend. I just hate the champion at the moment, and I'm a bit disappointed with them not changing it. And I saw a video where they think, because it's the most popular champion played, they say that it's not going to change because it's too... Why would we would change a champion that is popular, right? So yeah, that's it. Nami S+ tier. Nami S+ tier, the best champion in support, best support champion right now is Nami. Like if you want to climb, you pick Nami, Janna, or Milio blindly. You choose, and you're going to perform well, right? What I mean with this is also to pay attention to the tier list. Is that S+ means that you're going to win 65, maybe 70 if you are playing really good % of your games, because the agency of the enchanters is not as high as like if you would play like Leona. But I would not play these champions in low elo, right? If I was silver, I would not play these champions, but I'm not a silver player. You are a silver player, and it's nothing wrong to be being a silver player or bronze player, iron player. It's just that you have to learn the game and get comfortable about the fundamentals of playing support. And no champion is going to give you like free elo. It's just some champions are going to be easier for you to climb with, and other champions are going to be harder for you to climb with. Again, I know that I'm not talking enough about Nami, but understand that you have to choose champions that you enjoy playing, and you can work on getting better and better. So both together will help you, like, for sure, get to your goal, right? Sooner or later, right? And if you want to get faster, then you can make like just pick up the champions that are in the higher tier list, because obviously they are more meta, easier to play. Nami, great champion, good sustain, good damage, good laning phase, simple to play as well after, because it's an enchanter. Just make sure you position well, you play good with your Q, you play good with your mana flow early on, and very simple as well build path, right? You just build Imperial Mandate, you cannot go wrong with that, and then you can see what other items you can build depending on your team comp. Remember, you have an item guide as well in my document, which is obviously free, that you can see on the description, so you can see the item guides for enchanters there also, so you can check that out. All right, not much more to say, guys. You know what I think about Nami. If you have any questions about Nami or matchups, leave me a comment. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. Nasus. I don't know why Nasus is here, guys. I'm just trolling a bit, you know. I'm just trolling a bit. Nasus is here. I mean, he was fine with when the Comet, or when you max E into Zeri, into some, you can cripple some AD carries. But again, you don't have the lane presence as that you would like, and roaming potential is very bad. I don't know, like, I'm just looking at the face of Nasus and say, why are you here, right? This is crazy. So honorable mention, I guess. Like, you can play Nasus, you can play anything. I think I reduced a lot of support champions that I was, okay, let's put, I don't know, I don't know what champions I was thinking, but yeah, Nasus is still here. And if you play Nasus, good for you, but I don't think it's a great champion now. It's good to cripple some good AD carries like, as I said before, Zeri or something like this, but let's not talk too much about Nasus. Let's move into Nautilus. Nautilus is going to be... Nautilus, I'm thinking even to put S tier on Nautilus. I'm going to put S tier on Nautilus. The other supports got nerfed. Braum, Alistar, Rel as well, Lulu as well. And I'm going to put even Nautilus... I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in front of Lulu. I'm going to put Nautilus in front of Lulu. Why? Because hook champions, pretty strong. People misposition a lot in solo queue, and especially in low MMR games. Ultimate, point and click. You cannot go wrong with your ultimate with Nautilus. Now, I'm making an exception today on this tier list, and I'm making some risks because I'm putting Nautilus on tier S. And usually engaged champions, I'm very picky on where to put them, but Nautilus is very straightforward, very easy to play, pretty tanky. The other ones got nerfed, so he's like above them all. He counters most of the enchanters, right? If you play him well, you can play with Aftershock and you can play with Glacial, depending on the composition, right? If you're playing against Engage, you can play Aftershock, and if you play against immobile carries, you can play with Glacial. You can go the Redemption Rush as well, which is very popular at the moment with Nautilus. It's also fine with his W shield and great roaming. And again, later on in the game, he's okay. He can make sure that one player doesn't play with his ultimate. And you could do that, for example, if you are later on in the game, you put your teammates ahead, they're ahead, but they're throwing a bit, like Leona. And the enemy Kokmo is very fed. You just ult Kokmo, make sure you run at him, stun him, hook him. He cannot play for 4 to 5 seconds, and that's enough maybe to win a team fight, right? Compared to Leona, this is harder to do. Even if you have an ultimate, it's not a point and click ultimate, and you can get stopped pretty easily by other champions. So Nautilus is also very like hook. People see your hook, they can burst on that. You can go Celestial Opposition to be more tanky, or you can go Bloodsong to play a bit more burst, right? So I will leave Nautilus on S tier. Now, moving on, Neeko. Neeko is going to be in front of Elise, and I'm putting Neeko a bit higher than I usually do on low elo, because I would like you guys to try Neeko if you are interested in playing a champion that's also very highly creative, and it's not that difficult to play Neeko. Now, I have plenty of Neeko streams, plenty of Neeko guide as well, and I explain a lot on how to play Neeko in those videos, but she's not that difficult to play. She has extra buttons that you have to play to configure, right? But good roaming, good laning phase, good CC, good objective setup, right? You can do so much with Neeko, and Neeko is a champion that I would take some time and say, okay, I would like Neeko to be my main, or probably one of my mains, and study, right? If you like to study the game, if you like to study the champions, Neeko is your champion. And why is it in tier A if it takes so much effort? It's because if you are able to do so, it's not a difficult champion to execute later on, right? If you play a few games with Neeko, you are constantly trying to improve on what you could have done here, what you could have done there. It's for creative and study people, right? People that like to learn all the time about their champion, and they have time to do so, and they have the patience to do that as well without expecting immediately results. Then I would recommend Neeko for you. And the strength of Neeko is very obvious, right? It's one of the most played champions in high elo. Even if in low elo you think that it's too difficult, I would give it a try, especially if you like up for a challenge and you say, okay, I would like to play better. Because Neeko, the thing about Neeko is that laning phase, as I said before, you win the laning phase, you can poke, you can abuse a lot, you can play for playthings, you can roam, right? And you can also do very good ganks. So you are learning a lot of fundamentals about support just with one champion. She can do everything, right? She's very versatile in the sense that you can engage, you can flank, you can come from the front, you can gank directly this mid lane, you can gank top lane, you are very fast on the map, you have good 2v2, right? You can have good outplay potential. So it makes you like a very good player overall, but again, it's some sacrifice, right? Some time to learn, study, not get tilted on when you do mistakes, and yeah, research about the champions. But I think together with Elise, I will drop it on A tier 100%. Okay. Nidalee is going to, for me, going in B tier in front of Mel. She has a very good build, which is the Aerie build together with the three item Moonstone, Redemption, Downcore, or this type of, like, you can go with Mikael Ardent as well instead of Redemption, like Moonstone, Something, and Downcore. Like the Something, the second item has to be shield, what's called, like with Forbidden Idol, like it can be Redemption, Mikael, what's called Ardent, Staff of the Flowing Water as well. And with those three items, is very nice. Now, it's a champion that is very hard to play in laning phase, very hard to carry with. I struggled a lot playing Nidalee and carry with, even when I was ahead. So it's not consistent enough to pull off in low elo, and your teammates don't really know what to do. What's the strong part with Nidalee and why a lot of players are pulling her in higher elo is because she gives a 70% attack speed steroid to your AD carry or to anyone that you heal, and the heals go for like a lot, right? If you are maxing the E and you can heal for 1000, I've seen like insane amounts of heals going out. It's very strong in those situations. Now you don't have CC, you don't have engage, you don't have tons of damage, right? And you have like a lot of stuff to be paying attention to, right? How to move, how to roam, how to play your champ. So if you have not played Nidalee before, I would not recommend playing Nidalee at all. Let's move on. Orianna. Why Orianna is here? Because Orianna has to be here. I got Orianna comments like for 3 years, I think. No, I mean, for this entire year. Orianna support. I've not played Orianna support, so take it a bit, I don't know. If you're an Orianna player OTP and you like it, you like to play her, be happy that she's on the tier list right now. She evolved from not being on the tier list to being on the tier list. I don't think it's enough for her. I mean, it's hard for her to be a support. Like, she has mana problems, most likely in early game. She needs levels, she needs items. Again, if she can scale, get there in the team fights, very beautiful to just do an ultimate and do some damage there. But you have so many champions that if you just look at my screen or you look at your screen, you see some champions that can also have good crowd control and damage and can have an impact, right? And they can do way more earlier than Orianna, right? In skirmishes as well, and especially in solo queue where you are fighting constantly. So Orianna B tier, last one. Wouldn't recommend? Maybe. But it's just there. It's just there. Who I would not recommend is Ornn. Ornn, again, when Senna was AD carry, when you could play Senna, funnel Senna with Ornn AD carry or Ornn farming, then Ornn gets very strong. But if it's not the case, then Ornn is going to will not recommend. Matchups that Ornn excels is against engaged champions, like against Leona and Nautilus. It's played a lot, or was played a lot, like against Nautilus, because when Nautilus hooks you, you use W, or when Blitzcrank hooks you, you use W, and they cannot do anything, right, against you. So yeah, I would say Ornn will not recommend. And let's move on, because I think we are taking a lot of time, like talking about champions that really don't deserve more than 10 seconds. Pantheon, in the other hand, Pantheon is like Elise, but in AD, and easier to execute, probably, and easier to execute than Nico, right? Pantheon brings the damage, lane control, roaming potential. You can put your teammates ahead, you can put yourself ahead. You have different builds, like with PTA Conqueror. You can go Bruiser or Lethality, and you can also play with Electrocute, which also recommends with Lethality build. Level 6, you can impact them up a lot. Problems with Pantheon, mid to late game, not that great. You fall off very hard, especially if you go for a Lethality build. Now, you can play good mid to late game, even if you are, like, when you're ahead and people one-shot you. If you make sure that you ulti behind, you create pressure on flanks, you're more creative while playing the fights. Try to die less. What I've seen a lot of Pantheon players do in low elo is that you guys try to fight everything, right? Try to wait for the enemy to do a mistake, you jump and you kill. You can look for angles and position yourself in a way where you can punish the enemy more than anything, okay? Poppy. Poppy's also going to be up here. I think Poppy's also going to be up here, and I'm going to drop Poppy on A tier, right? It's a super champion that you can make a lot of good use with. You can roam, you can play laning phase, denies a lot of mobility from a lot of champions that are meta. Everyone has a dash nowadays, so Poppy is great. You can go Aftershock, Spellbook, Halo Blades, Electrocute, Lethality build, Roaming build, Supportive build. You can play Poppy like again, very versatile champion. Support champions that allow you to be like, you can change depending on the game. Also makes you think a bit more about the game, right? It makes you better player as well. So I love this type of champions because it's a champion that you are going to spam for a long period of time. Maybe you are going to climb a bit or you are going to stay wherever you are. But if you are making the effort of learning why I'm picking this, why I'm doing this, and trying to get better every game, is going to be a champion that also helps you just overall to become a better support player. Okay, and I've not played Poppy like as much as I would like, even if she got nerfed and changed during this last split. Also, she's still fine, right? She's still very strong. She has also like solo carry potential because you can like get a very chaotic game rolling that you have control over and just impact every single lane. She's pretty fast on the map as well. So yeah, I think also like great blind pick if you guys ask me. Pyke. So Pyke, I would say is going to be A tier, and I will put it just in front of Amumu. And I will explain why. So Pyke is very nice to snowball early game, and I've seen like a lot of success on snowball. But if you don't know how to play Pyke in mid to late game, this champion is going to look so bad. If you don't know how to get deep vision, if you don't know how to attack silent, if you don't know how to play with hook patience, auto attack, hook patience, and just play around the hook, don't go in, be patient in the mid lane to late game fights, play with Fog of War, obviously, right, with the Amber Glaive, with all of this, then Pyke is going to be a difficult champion for you to climb with, okay? It's going to make it very inconsistent, and you need a lot like timing flashes, who has flash, who doesn't have flash, who has a dash right now up or not, because you want to execute with the ultimate. Last thing you want to do is just ult and the target flashes away or dashes away. You have to keep track of a lot of cooldowns. Now it's a bit better because you will know who flashed or didn't flash in the top left corner once you died or your teammates die, so you know exactly who used flash or not. So again, great champion for solo queue, but you will snowball very hard and then drop off, and you have to make sure that your team can carry later on, and you can set it up. Okay, so a bit tricky to play Pyke. If you are really good with Pyke, it will be S plus, very easy. And if you are very bad or you are new to Pyke, it can be like in B tier. Like it can feel like a very hard champion to win with. Rakan. You guys told me that Rakan, I will always put Rakan like very high, but you told me that Rakan is hard to execute in lower elos. So I would put Rakan, in my opinion, behind Alistar, right? I think Alistar probably is a better champion. Elise is better champion than Rakan. It's a bit there, right? Very versatile champ as well. I love Rakan. Not good damage in laning phase if you don't go Electrocute. I would recommend to go Electrocute in lower elos, but maybe I've got mixed feelings or mixed reviews. Some people pick Electrocute Rakan and went from Silver to Platinum, right? Very easy. Some other people pick Electrocute Rakan on Silver and they could not win. So Electrocute Rakan is just a very strong build because when Electrocute got buffed, it was played like that before. So maybe give it a try if you are interested in. If not, Guardian Rakan. Guardian got nerfed or changed. It's not a very good rune. If not, Spellbook, right? If you are happy playing Rakan and you know the combos, be patient in and out and how to play around him, it gets better and better. He just does everything a support wants to do, right? Traditional supports are always pretty nice. Rek'Sai. I mean, Rek'Sai is here because I have to try to play Rek'Sai AP with some build that I got asked to try, because I know that there are some Rek'Sai players out there that play support, but I would say not recommend, right? I would not recommend playing Rek'Sai, not because it's not a good champ, like for example Anivia is also in B, or because it cannot be a good support, maybe it is, I have not tried it yet. But I would not recommend if you are trying to look for a new support. It's not going to be something you really want to try right now, no? Especially in 3 months, the end of the season. But maybe there's someone out there that says, "Oh, I would try this new Rek'Sai build and maybe I love it," right? Or maybe there's some changes that make Rek'Sai support look decent. Then it could be B tier, maybe A tier if you are super insane, right, with the champ. But I would not recommend. Rel. S tier, Rel. I know you guys spam it always. So Rel is going to be S in front of probably Bard in low elo. I think it's way easier to play than Bard in low elo. It's also very good impact. And it was S plus. It dropped 2 nerfs. I don't think the nerfs are that relevant, but it's still an engaged champion in low MMR games, plus some nerfs. So again, Rel, you can do everything. You have Aftershock against tanky champs. You have Glacial against immobile carries. You can play Spellbook. Even though I would not recommend Spellbook, not because of the difficulty, but because Glacial and Aftershock, you can probably get away with it a bit better in low MMR games and just be more useful. That's what we are looking for. So Rel, yeah, S tier, nothing changes really. You can go for the Redemption Rush, or you can just do normal Ziggs Locket, or just Locket first item. So yeah. Renata, I would not recommend playing Renata. Now, Renata, again, I liked a lot playing Renata on stream last time. I loved the game. She was super fun to play, but she has a lot of problems in team composition wise, right? She's really good in some comps, she's really bad in other comps, she's not consistent enough, as I said, as a blind pick or as a support pick. Can you make it work? Yes. Is it going to be insane? Like playing 50 games of Renata is going to be easy to play every single one? No, it's going to be more harder than easy. So I would say Renata will not recommend. It's very frustrating to play this champ. I think maybe she can use the buff or some changes or something, but it's like a great champ when it feels great and a bad champion when it feels bad. So I would not recommend maining Renata, even though like if you main it, it's not a big problem, but just make sure that you know what to do in the hard team comps, right? When the team comp is not that easy to play, then how you can play. Plus your teammates, I don't think they know what your W does. Rumble. Rumble, let's drop it on behind Kennen. Rumble is great with Varus, Ashe, Jhin, and and then there's another one that I forget every single time. Maybe Miss Fortune, but I don't think Miss Fortune. There's another one that I forget, another AD carry that right now I'm thinking, but I don't know. But if you don't have like CC, or you don't have someone that slows and that can fight in laning phase, then Rumble is not that good. But if you have one of those, then Rumble is very good. I would say I would drop it a bit, right? I will drop it with together with Brand or behind Brand here in front of Aurora. I think it's fine. Maybe it's too much on A. I love Rumble and I've played a lot of Rumble support, but outside of those three AD carries, I would not play, or I would not recommend playing Rumble. Now Sejuani is going to go together here with what's called, with Galio and Gragas, the same thing, maybe even below, but she has good damage. She's not that bad in the in-game, so she's okay. I mean, Sejuani is pretty good. So I'm going to move my camera here so you guys can see everything as well. Now, yeah, Sejuani on B tier, it's fine. It works. I think it works pretty good. Senna, Senna got a buff with the healing buff. I normally say I would not recommend to play Senna, but right now maybe you can play some Senna. I've seen some people have success with Senna. Not the best. Maybe the first one on B tier. She's a good carry if she's like if she's able to get some damage in. But yeah, I think Senna has a lot of issues. She needs to be reworked or have some other buffs. I don't think she's the greatest right now. But again, if she gets really fed, she might be able to carry, and it's like a good damage dealer. You can go the Enchanter build, which I don't think is the best maybe right now. You want Fleet and some damage. Fleet footwork in runes. But well, we will see. Seraphine, I will drop Seraphine. I like Seraphine, but yeah, I will drop Seraphine on A tier behind Lux. The good thing about Seraphine is the ultimate is pretty strong, pretty broken. The laning phase is decent. The CC is very straightforward, which helps in solo queue. But she lacks like obviously the roaming potential, the mobility. Other champions can do way better what we are looking for here. For example, any enchanter, right? There's better spots for Seraphine. I mean, she's okay. She's decent. Let's go for Seth. I would not recommend to play Seth. I would not recommend playing Seth because Seth, after he got nerfs like long time ago, I would not recommend playing him. He was really good when, for example, you could play with Phase Rush or you play with Nimbus Cloak, what you will do is just go flash E, stun someone, and with that you will make snowball the laning phase. You will be very threatening because you will have like a lot of base damage, good move speed, and just very strong on skirmishes, right? Seth is not like that anymore. And yeah, it's only good against, if you're playing against Leona, maybe some Nautilus, someone that engages and goes forward, and you can make sure that you play. But when I play him recently, is not enough damage for me to feel like, oh, it's worth it to play Seth, I'm destroying them, right? Even if you're ahead, which feels pretty bad, in my opinion, when you're playing this type of supports. Shaco, I'm going to say B, not recommend, or B, sorry. B next to, behind even Rumble, I mean in front of Rumble, I can say. So Shaco is not terrible, not consistent enough, as I say always here today, not consistent enough. He got nerfed on AD, right? AD Shaco with Halo Blades was, in my opinion, the best, because what you will do is max Q, go, or 3 points in Q at least, and you will get Jomus, and then you could one-shot the enemy AD carry, which would be a decent trade, and you could ult after to escape. You could be very annoying, but this AP Shaco with the spam boxes, I dislike. I don't think it's that great to climb. Maybe you can still go for the AD one, but again, not that strong at the moment. I wish they buffed him instead of nerfed him, but yeah, I think if they buffed him, would be like too strong. Shen is actually not that bad. I think Shen is not the worst, but I don't think it's great either. Maybe in front of Amumu is not a bad place for Shen. I think Shen in front of Amumu can be nice. You have a global that can impact the entire map. You have decent damage early on, good base damage. You can punish with your taunt. The bot lane when they miss position. I will wait more to play around the push control, wait for the enemy team to do like go for a minion, and then you can taunt and you do a lot of damage, especially level 2 when you can have the Q, like passing through the enemy AD carry, right? And you get those 3 empowered auto attacks. Then Shen gets very powerful, right? But in general, it's around B8 tier. You can one-trick Shen. I don't think there's going to be nothing wrong with that. But there are better champions to play, in my opinion, right now in the meta. I wish they buffed him, because he's also a champion that I do enjoy playing, and I actually had good results in competitive as well back in the day. Skarner, Skarner. So Skarner, funny story again, like Asante, they told me, oh, play Skarner, very good champ. There's a challenger Korean player that plays Skarner, which he plays really good. He's insane with the champ, but I will say not recommend. I will not recommend you play Skarner, because I play 60 Skarner games and I have 50% win rate, which took me a lot, 50 games, I think, or 60 games. And he has a lot of mechanical stuff that you have to pay attention to. Your lane phase is not as strong as you think. And yeah, he played it with Spellbook. You can play it with Comet or Halo Blades, or maybe Grasp as well. It's not a champion I would recommend. It's very fun to play because you can kidnap through the walls with the ultimate. The E is very, very crazy. So yeah, that's funny. But maybe in a flex queue in a clash game, you can give a couple of tries. But don't expect to have a high win rate playing Skarner, or to be just insane with the champion, because it's not that easy. It's that I had to suffer 200 LP loss because of that, right? So yeah, I blame you guys. I blame you for my LP loss. Okay, Sona. As I said before, I'm a Zona, Zilean, Yumi hater, so Sona is not going to be too up for me. I understand that she could be S tier, honestly, but I'm going to make some, maybe not rage bait, but Sona on A tier, I like it a bit more, right? Sona on A tier, I like it a bit more, because as some other champions, as I said, they give you the idea on how to play support, right? How to play fundamentally correct support, and how to play around the bush control, how to roam the agency, like for example Nico, Elise, Karma can also do everything. Sona is very, very slow, very boring. Yes, I understand she's very difficult to play, and if you are really good and how to min-max the Sona, I understand, I agree as well with you guys. But really good into enchanters, very popular in North America and EU. Sona is not that popular, even if we have 2 OTPs that are challenger with Sona, or were challenger. I don't think if they are active or not. You can climb with the champion, you can have a good win rate, but if you have patience and you want to play the enchanter way in hard mode, meaning less agency, good carry potential later on, pick Sona. It's going to be great for you, okay? But it's not, I don't enjoy it personally, that's why I put it on A. I don't think it's that strong in the meta as well if the enemy team plays correctly. So yeah, I will just put it in A, low agency as well. Next one, Soraka. So Soraka I dislike, but I don't hate. I dislike Soraka because she makes the lanes harder they just makes bad AD carries decent at the game, because she can just heal through a lot of mistakes. But Soraka I would put S tier or in front of Lulu. I would put it in front of Lulu. It could be A tier in front of Sona. Lulu could also be A tier like here in front of Sona. Sona could also be up. They are very close to each other, right? If we could do another tier like A+, then those champions will probably be in there, or S-, no? So Soraka in front of Lulu, for sure. Also a good champion to climb with. Enchanters, I'm very biased that they work very good in low MMR games. We will see the high tier list later. So Soraka, especially if your team has some front lane, some champions, some bruisers that can play in front of her, or some crowd control that work very good with the silence. For example, a Jarvan ultimate, right? So yeah, it can be very good. No, Soraka Ashe as well, Soraka Varus, Jhin. I like how it works with together with her, and it's nice champ, especially because lower elo there's no grievous wound or anti-heal bot enough, and people don't focus you, right? If you are good at positioning yourself, at healing, and understanding how to play the champion, then I would say like Soraka is S tier 100%. Let's go for the next one, Sylas. I would not recommend to play Sylas. I would think that Sylas is a bit better. I mean, I would put Sylas on B tier, like here next to Oriana. Not on would not recommend. It's a fun champion to play. I've played him like a few times this split. Has the same problem as before, which people ignored and told me, no, he's very strong. The problem is that later on, even if you're ahead, there are certain compositions that he struggles a lot with, right? Like enemy team is very like flank champions or assassins, or they have a lot of range. It's very difficult for you to pull off like the Swain, or if you are the only CC champion or no one in your team has engaged. Now, if the enemy team is full melee, very low range, not a lot of burst damage, then probably Sylas can be pretty good. Even if they have some burst with Celestial Opposition, you can mitigate that, but it's not consistently good enough for me to place him higher. And if you are struggling to play against Swain, a tip is that when he throws the E, don't dodge backwards, dodge sideways, forward. Dodge it forward, so you will dodge it easy, right? That's the main idea. Sylas, I love Sylas. I think he's very good. I think it's pretty good. I will put it like LeBlanc. Strong mage, strong skirmish, even in front of Mel, to be fair. Electrocute buff, items buffed. In low elo, maybe not that easy to pull off. You need an aggressive AD carry to follow, aggressive jungler to follow. So I think in B tier, together with this type of mages, is going to be fine. Very fun to play for me, at least. So it's not troll to play Sylas support. So if you want to give it a try it. But it's B tier 100%. Tahm Kench. We're finishing up soon, so the last row. Tahm Kench, I'm going to drop Tahm Kench in B tier next to Senna. One of the hardest champions to play against, like that's what you guys tell me. How do I play against Tahm Kench? How do I play against Tahm Kench? I've got that question so many times. Very high cooldowns, not easy to carry, if not turbo ahead with Heartsteel, 500 stacks at minute 10, right? Very easy to kite, not good engage. Decent peel with the ultimate, not easy to pull off in low elo as well. Very good into, for example, Nocturne, Malzahar, Hwei, which are very specific like ultimates that to target one player that you can save. So I would say like Tahm Kench in that sense, in those moments is S tier or S plus, but it's not going to happen like at all during the 100 game span, right? If we think in the long run, like for one niche team comp, it was really good. Taric. So as you guys know, I'm OTP Taric player myself. I will not put Taric on S tier. I think Taric is very, very strong if you are able to pull him off. Now, better than Elise and Nico for sure. Better than Poppy, I'm not too sure about. Probably yes. Better than Pantheon? No, maybe better than Pantheon. I think maybe better than Pantheon. I'm going to get the Taric players hyped right now. I want more Taric players. Taric is probably together with Bard one of the best ultimates in the game to win and change a game. So if you're losing a game, your ultimate can carry a lost game for sure. Very few supports have this ability, especially in teamfights, and teamfights is something that happens constantly in low MMR games where it's like all mid lane and deciding factor. So you can always like have a good comeback potential. Now Taric is great enchanter, just overall in laning phase, the strongest, probably level 3, level 4 in the game. Level 2 as well if you decide to go Q second. Very good into melee champions or melee bot lanes. Struggles against range and ardents and mages. Not really, to be fair, because you could go Glacial instead of Aftershock or Guardian. You can also go Spellbook if you like. Very versatile like rune pages as well. And the build is very straightforward, like on how to build him. He has a lot of damage, so maybe you should convert to Taric OTP. Being a Taric OTP or a Taric OTP player is you get elo. You for sure you will get a lot of elo. Teemo, I would not recommend playing Teemo, honestly. I don't think it's worth your time to play Teemo, learn Teemo. You have to play around the Shroom control a lot. I don't think your team has the patience enough to play around Shroom control. You can be annoying. It can be fun for a couple of games. To make sure that you climb out of your elo from silver to emerald just playing Teemo, you have to be very dedicated. And again, study the game a lot, like how you want to play, how you want to trade. And it gives you like a very good idea on how to play laning phase. But nothing else, right? I would just not recommend playing Teemo. I don't know why it's here, but well, it's here. Thresh! Oh, I forgot that Thresh even existed. Thresh goes S tier together with Nautilus. And a bit behind Nautilus is probably in high elo tier list. Pay attention to Thresh because he's going to be like up there. Now Thresh, with all the champions nerfed, him getting some buffs way back, I think, in Split 2. Can play Aftershock, can play Glacial, can play Spellbook, different builds. You can roam a bit more, you can play more laning phase, very strong laning phase as well. Peak potential very high. Overall, one of the supports that impressed me the most during all the year, right? All this year, like he's doing better and better and better every single patch. And we all love Thresh, right? It's not that easy to play maybe at the start, but well, in general, it's a fun champion to play. You can for sure main it and carry your way through low elo and climb, and it's going to be very useful. Now, I know that they will maybe not click your lantern, right, in game. Well, it is what it is. If you don't get that angry, if they don't click it, then it's a great champion. I like with Emax, the OTP, Marco OTP NA Challenger told me to max E because he does max E after the buffs, so instead of Q. I like it more than with Q. I think it will work better in low MMR games. So if you play Thresh and you don't max E, give it a try and let me know how it goes, or if you have any questions. You can also check out the OPG of Marco, I think is Marco in NA. He's challenger or high grandmaster with this champion, so you can also like see how he plays. Let's move on to the next one. Trundle. I will not recommend playing Trundle, I think, in front of Skarner. I played some Trundle when he got buffed with the E long time ago, like I think a start of Split 2 with Glacial. It was very fun, was very nice. But again, like it was really good against immobile carries, and also when an enemy team has like one tanky champion or two tanky champions, especially one tanky champion that you can take the resistances and can burst, and also your team composition is like first target burst, okay? So then Trundle gets a lot of value. All right, next one. Vel'koz got buffed as well. And I will put Vel'koz a bit higher than this time. This time I will put Vel'koz on high A tier. I did put Vel'koz, I believe, I don't remember exactly, lower. But he got buffed on E, he got buffed on the ultimate, he got good buffs, like base damage buffed. And if you play Vel'koz and you think you want to spend time playing the champion, he's going to give you good results. It's a champion that cannot roam, strong laning phase, a strong like mid game if you know how to position correctly. Can win a team fight alone if you play as good. As very risky to if you do a lot of mistakes and you get caught, or against assassin or strong engage, you can suffer if you don't play really back and with a lot of patience, but you will learn. Again, it's a champion to study, to main. Probably it's a champion to dedicate a lot of time if you are not doing it already. If you do it already, then for sure make sure that you keep learning and keep making sure that you're getting better and better with the champion, and you will climb. You will climb with this champ 100%. I will not say it's like insta S tier, but A tier is fair enough for after the buffs as well. Now let's talk about Xerath. Now the other side of the mage, the poke mage, is going to be Xerath. So Xerath is going to go in will not recommend, okay? I will not recommend playing Xerath. It's not good enough. Not good enough in support. I also I don't hate Xerath. I like Xerath, but it's not good enough. Other supports do a way better job than Xerath. I'm seeing Orianna, by the way, while I'm putting Xerath on will not recommend, and I don't know why Orianna's here. But, well, it's the same thing, right? Low B tier and will not recommend is very similar. So, yeah, low mobility, not insane amount of damage, if not very ahead. Very expensive build. You can get it like 2 to 3 items and you will be okay, but enemy team should already have more items. You can obviously snowball, but with any mage snowballing, obviously in the best situation possible, it's going to look strong. But in general, I would not recommend you to spam Xerath to climb and to get elo. Yuumi, strong support just in general with Twitch, Zeri, this type of stuff, but I have to do my mission is not recommend Yuumi, right? Why not recommend Yuumi is because not fun champion to play with or against, doesn't help you a lot to grow as a support player, can give you some elo in certain moments when the team comp is right, so a bit like Renata, but Renata is like more skilled. Yuumi is, I don't like Yuumi at all. I don't think anyone likes Yuumi. I'm a Yuumi hater as well, so yeah, just leave Yuumi here, guys. Don't drop any comment about Yuumi or any Yuumi emote or cat emote, because I would get I don't like that. We don't talk about the parasite. I like cat. I love cats, but Yuumi is not a cat. is a parasite. Zac, let's go for Zac in front of Gragas. Similar to Gragas, Galio and Sejuani, in my opinion. A bit better because probably he has better range to engage and better more damage. Okay, so I would put Zac just in front of them, even in front of Jarvan, honestly. If you play him correctly, not easy to play or to learn at first. You probably need a few games. But I would not say even better than Amumu or Shen. I would pick Shen and Amumu probably higher. I think Amumu, I was very, what's called, very, I don't know, too happy with Amumu here. Amumu is a bit too high, maybe, guys. You will tell me. You tell me if you hear this, if you think Amumu is too high. Zilean. Zilean is another one of the champions I dislike as support. A very weak laning phase, but laning phase you don't get punished that much in the Zillow or in lower Elos. So I would end up putting Zilean in front of Rakan, in front of Alistar, maybe. No, behind Alistar. I think it's a good spot here on A tier. It's a very strong late game, very annoying if he can scale. He should not be able to scale. You should not be able to let Zilean play the game. But well, I know that, like, for example, like Sona, he scales, he can carry games alone with the move speed, and in certain compositions he's better than in others, right? When the enemy team has like burst or first target, Zilean is really good because his ultimate gets more value. If you have like an engaged champion or breach champion that works really good with move speed or getting buff, like for example Olaf, Xin Zhao can also do a lot for Zilean, then it gets better and better. Especially the AD carry, if it's a hyper carry, it also gets better, right? Okay, last one, no, Zoe. With Zoe and Zyra left. Zoe is going to go for me in front of Nidalee and B tier. Hard champion to pull off, has to snowball. The electrocute is fine, but I think she got a bit nerfed in some point. I don't know if it affected the support at the end, but I will not recommend playing Zoe. It can be a very nice champion to carry with, right? But it requires you to snowball the early game and your team to play around good on your picks. Usually the reaction time in high elo is pretty high to react to those picks, and in low elo you're going to be like pulling more everything yourself. So I don't think Zoe is the best. So B tier is okay. Last time I forgot Zoe, I think, so this time no. Zyra. So Zyra maybe go with Lux, and in front of Seraphine. What do we think? Here or B tier? Here, B or A? B or A? What do we do with Zyra, guys? I think the first on B. First on B, and it's amazing. Maybe it's a mistake to put Zyra first on B. Maybe she's stronger. But probably the Zyra OTPs or Zyra players that are here and are watching right now and saying, okay, what is this crazy guy going to say about Zyra? Are going to agree with me. I think she's not the strongest at the moment. Laning phase is pretty irrelevant right now. The roaming potential is decent. She could be A, high B. It's fine to carry with and get out of silver or gold or plat. You can climb. So probably I'm a bit putting a bit Zyra a bit too low. But my message is there are better champions that you can play with Zyra. Not my favorite champion to climb out of low elo. So yeah, and let's keep it a B, and the tier list will finish like this. Good tier list. I like it this time around. I believe that if you play the S plus S tier champions and you are like elo hungry, if you want to climb and you want to look for, and you are not playing those champions, or there are some champions that you thought about playing and you want to start playing or learning, they are not that difficult to learn. I have some guides and some content about some of them, so feel free to check that out as well. Maybe it might help. And yeah, I think this is the low elo tier list. Let's go for the high elo. This is the high elo tier list for this split 3, and for the end of the season, most likely it's going to be, maybe they are going to change some things, Riot, during the last 3 months. I doubt it. Maybe the world patch, we will see something spicy, but I don't think so. They touch a lot of supports already, so I don't expect many things to change. Now on S plus we have Bard, Nami and Rel. Rel, I think it was a bit down when I did the last one, but she's still very strong. She has the best kit in the game, best engaged champion in the game for a while already. Like she's top tier. And if they don't change the kit, as I said, they could nerf the W shield and just remove it, and I don't think it will change like insane. Probably yes, but it's like I'm exaggerating maybe a bit, but she's very strong. Nami, the best enchanter in the game, very good champion just overall in also in high elo. It's a great champion to play. And Bard is always going to be here. Bard is also with all the other champions getting nerfed, he's still very strong. And the interesting part is the S tier. Now I think I dropped Janna a bit from S plus to S. She could still be S tier plus. I think Thresh could also be S plus. And I think Milio could also be around there, very next to the top 3. But they deserve to be on S 100%. They are very strong champions to climb with. And you cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong with these 6 champions that I just mentioned. And then we have Nico, Nautilus, and Soraka. Nico on S tier is made a comeback. I don't remember if I kept Nico here. But Nico, even after the Q nerfs, and you are less obnoxious on bot lane, but you have very great carry potential, right? Nautilus also like the second best engaged champion at the moment with the nerfs of Alistar and other champions that could be a bit better, at least from solo queue, right? With Nautilus, you just roam around the map, make sure that you hook and kill, right? In high elo, what you do is you just sync up with your jungle and you make sure that you're useful. Soraka is also going to be here because if you play it well enough, she can be very strong in laning phase, and later on she also has great results like in mid to late game. Okay, now we enter on A tier. Changes from low elo is that Rakan, Alistar are going to make a big appearance on A. Also, Pantheon, Elise are going to be together. Lulu dropped a lot, right, because of the nerfs, but also because laning phase is a bit weaker and they can abuse you a bit more, right? They can abuse you a bit more still. Taric is also here, Poppy, Leona. Now, Pyke is a bit up compared to the low elo one, but Pyke is still... I was thinking if dropping him a bit or not, but in solo queue, in high elo, it can be very strong because you can snowball and make sure that you finish the game fast. But still, there's some team compositions that is like pretty meh. But it works for a solo queue tier list. I think A is fair enough. Karma the same. Now, Vel'koz and Hwei made an appearance as well on A. They deserve the spot. I don't think they are S tier compared to the other ones. The other ones are just too strong. But if you play correctly, then you can pull them off, right? Blitzcrank is going to be A tier together with Braum, Son, and Nami. I think those champions could be B. To be fair, they could be B, all of these 4 on the last row, but they have like some strengths that made for sure that they have a good potential to have like a decent win rate in high elo, and you can climb with them. And then in the other hand, we have like a bunch of mage champions in B tier. That what I think about these champions is that if you have a really good comp on really good bot lane, they work super good, and they're really good conditions. They are insanely, like for example, Rumble with the Jhin, Varus, or Ashe, insane champion. Sylas with a strong skirmishing like AD carry, maybe Draven, Kalista, Kai'Sa can also work like close range fighting. That's pretty nice. Zoe with pickup champions, right? Lax with you if you have a Kayle, if you have like maybe Varus, Ashe can also be nice, right? Zyra the same. Heimerdinger against melee champs. Zilean is always going to be strong. He dropped from A tier because he can get abused a bit more. And not only you get abused in lane, is also your jungle is going to get abused, right? For example, Seraphine is the same. Brand is also like low mobility, right? Champions that have weak laning phases and scale well is hard to pull off in high elo because you can get abused very early by roaming support, so you have to be very careful about that. That's why champions that can roam or match roams are high up. Our champions that are their kit is just very strong, right? Like Milio's kit, pretty strong, and what he adds to the team later on, it's like insanely strong. Maokai not strong enough like Amumu to go in and survive, right? No, compared to other champs, of course. So if you're ahead, everything is easier. And then I would not recommend the same thing like Renata, insanely strong in certain comps, like we said in low elo, doesn't change, but very weak in most of the team comps that you are going to face or be in, right? Senna, Morgana, Xerath, and Yuumi, not good enough to be valuable support champions in the game. Yuumi is fine, it's just she got nerfed as well. I don't think it's worth spamming Yuumi in high elo if you don't play like with a duo that can carry the games with you and you trust. Is not going to be the best option. So I think this tier list is pretty good for high elo. Let me know in the comments as well what you guys think. Maybe I missed a support or two, but this is what I would play to climb. So it's a good question actually. Right now I was not going to answer it, but I'm going to say it. What would I play? Because I'm right now master. I've been pretty inactive, so I've dropped from inactivity a lot. what will I play to end the season strong myself? What is my recommendation? What am I going to play? Probably I'm going to do a series where I'm going to play on my main account and try hard just to end up on the highest elo possible. It's complicated with all the coaching and with the videos that I want to do. Like I have a very big list on everything that I want to release, and there's a lot of them, and I want to to not disappoint you guys and make sure that I drop quality content that you guys can learn from more often, right? More often. So I want to do that, but we will see. I will for sure play Nico. I will play Thresh, Milio. I want to have like a Milio day and learn Milio a bit more, and Rel, Nami, and Bart, right? These 6 champions, the 3S plus and Thresh, Milio, and Nico. 100% I'm going to play them. Now Taric probably in some games because I'm like a Taric OTP, Taric player. So when it's a really good champion of Taric, obviously he jumps on S tier or S plus tier, right? And that's how probably you have to think about the game as well if you are at a high level already, is that need to make sure that you have like a niche pick or a strong pick. Like let's say you are a Poppy player, right? Or Poppy player is very specific. Maybe you love Braum, right? You feel like Braum is your comfort pick. You are strong with Braum. When it's a good comp to play Braum with your team and enemy team, which you will know, an enemy a lot of melee champions. You have a good auto attackers right in the team. Pull off the Braum, even if it's like not meta, it will jump obviously on tier if you are placing Braum in a really good game. Right, the same goes with Lulu, the same goes with Rakan, right? The same goes with any other champions depending on the game. Okay, so yeah, don't take it too much like, oh, it's not top tier, it's not going to work out. Obviously in single specific games, every champion has their strengths. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and next year I will do another one for the Split 1 Season 16. Excited to see. I will keep doing tier list on stream. Right, every time there's a new patch, I will do another tier list. So if you are curious to check the individual tiers, you also have it in the document in the tab tier list, and you can see me there on stream working my way through the tier list most likely. Okay, if there are some big changes. All right, guys, see you later. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.